Hello, this is Lee on PublicLee speaking, and this is part 2 of my review of Twilight, Twi-Harder. If you haven't seen the first, do so now as I reference it in this video. So, on to the story, what little of it there is. To make her mom happy, Bella moves from Arizona to Forks, Washington. She's all depressed and emo, and she goes to school where all the boys immediately like her, and she immediately judges them on appearance, grading the nerdy one as just friends, while the jock seems dateable, despite them saying pretty much the same things. But all that falls to the fucking wayside when she meets Edward Cullen, a rich pretty boy who fucking hates her, won't talk to her, and treats her like a sewer rat, so she immediately falls in love with him, and when she finds out that he wants to transfer out of the class that she shares with him, she cries on the way home. I'm fucking serious. Edward disappears for a week, then comes back, then it's magically winter, and then the truck tries to pancake her, but Edward saves her, which gives her tiny mind something to focus on as she now knows he's not quite human. And she's like, "Tell me what you really are!" And he's like, no. Then she tries to follow him around until he's all like, "Fine, I'll stop trying to stay away from you, even though I'll probably kill you." And she just goes, "Yay!" Then she goes to the beach with her friends and meets some Indians who have a legend that they were descended from werewolves and the Cullens are vampires and they hate each other, but it's just a legend, which prompts a horrid internet research scene. Then she goes into the city with her friends who want prom dresses, and then the aforementioned almost gang rape happens, but it's okay because Edward is there to save her and has to take her out to dinner to start to explain what he really is, and ignores the hot waitress that hits on him, so Bella is happy. Then comes the aforementioned "here's what I am" scene where he shows off how strong, fast, and lethal he is, and goes, "Why aren't you fucking scared of me?" And he finds her interesting because she doesn't react the way most people would. Now, there is a certain truth to this, in that most people are predictable, and that if you give them a certain bit of information, they'll all react in generally the same way. However, people at either ends of the intelligence spectrum act differently. The dumb ones don't have the mental capacity to run the routine mental processes that would result in a normal reaction, making them almost too dumb to live. And the intelligent ones are capable of metacognition, which is consciously changing the very nature in which they think, which can cause a myriad of results that deviate from the norm. Guess which one Bella is? You'll probably get it on the first try. So, on the entire "I'm a monster" thing, he kinda is, but this is not necessarily a bad thing. Something that his adopted father Carlisle never really taught him with all of his "drink animal blood instead of human and rise above the monster you are" talk. Also, the only time Edward drank human blood, he read his victim's minds so that he only preyed on the truly evil and depraved, making him like a bloodier Batman, because he had superpowers and killed criminals. Yep, so evil. Then Bella meets his family, and they're all like, you make him happy, so you're okay. You also discover that each vampire has a special superpower, like the X-Men. Really, I couldn't make up something that retarded. One can see the future, one can control crowds' emotions, one is super strong, even for a vampire, one has super empathy, one has perfect control of his bloodlust. I'm not sure what the blonde chick has, but it's probably something cool too. They can all go out in sunlight, but they look like they're made of opaque diamonds if they do, which would have been epic, except the movie made them just look like they bathed in glitter. They're also all super fast, super strong, have super hearing and sight, they're super everything, and they can only be killed if you chop them up and then set the pieces on fire. They change others into vampires via venom, and when they feed, they have no fangs, so instead of the "I want to suck your blood," they dismember their victims and feed from the bloody corpse in a bestial fury, which had dark, disgusting, and disturbing possibilities if it wasn't completely glossed over for, "oh my god, sparkles." Then the Cullens play baseball during a thunderstorm because the thunder covers their hitting the ball or something. Then 3 nomadic vampires show up. One guy is nice, but one guy wants Bella, and the girl vamp likes the one that wants Bella, so Bella has to run to Arizona with 2 of the Cullens as bodyguards, but the evil vamp tricks her into coming alone to meet him, because she's an idiot. He bites her but gets interrupted before he can eat her. Edward has to suck the venom out of the wound so that she won't turn, then she's hospitalized, goes back to Forks, where Edward takes her to the prom and she still wants him to turn her, but he won't. End of book. There's a hell of a lot more to the series, and I wouldn't normally go into it, but considering the Twilight is both the name of the first book and the series, I will. But first, here's the way the series could have gone, and then the way it actually fucking went. It could have gone with Bella going, "change me, change me, change me," and Edward going, "fine," and changing her, only for her to discover how even though being a vampire can be awesome, it can really, really suck. She has to realize all the shit he had to put up with. The fact that she daily, if not hourly, put herself in a position where the only thing keeping her from being kibbles and bits was his ironclad self-control. A self-control that she can't even begin to possess. I want her to kill her friend, ripping them apart as she drinks his or her blood, only coming to later realizing what she's done and having to deal with the fallout, psychologically, socially, possibly even judicially. And because Twilight vamps do that instead of just draining people, the psychological damage would be so much more. Bloody hell, there would be so much potential for dealing with topics like be careful what you wish for, a coming-of-age story, all power has a price, and having a dark side isn't bad as long as you can control it and it doesn't control you. So many deep, dark, moral topics that could have been addressed, the kind of things people don't normally talk about and that you have to fucking get from books. Also, the relationship between Edward and Bella would have gone from horribly unequal, way it started out, to into a teacher and student kind of thing, as Edward took her under his wing and showed her how to be a better person, ending with them as equals based on understanding and communication and mutual respect, like how relationships should be. This is my personal opinion, and I will flesh this out eventually, but I am of the mind that romantic relationships should be partnerships, where neither side is dominant, neither are they submissive. Anyways, that's the way it could have gone. That's the way I was expecting, and was really looking forward to the second book. Yeah, guess what? That's not the fucking way it goes! Instead, she's like, change me, change me, change me, and he's all like, no, I'm dangerous, and in true abuser fashion, I'm going to leave you with no warning or reason why. And she thinks, if he saved me before, he will again if I'm about to die, and while this is happening, the hot Native American werewolf who actually cares for her is like, hey, that's not a great idea. He left you, maybe we could, but they're just friends before she finally falls for him, starting to have an actually good relationship. Then Edward gets wind that she jumped off of a cliff, but misses the part where she's fine, so he goes to Italy to expose himself in the sunlight so the vampire government will kill him. Why he can just jump in a fucking volcano is beyond me, but he has a Romeo and Juliet thing going on, and we all know how well that ended. So, Bella goes to stop him because she's incapable of just calling or texting him, and saves him, but the Italian and Rice ripoffs get wind of the vamp-human relations and say that either Bella becomes a vamp or she and the Cullens all die. Edward's dad is like, okay, as is Bella, but Edward convinces her to let him turn her himself, even though there is no evidence that there are vampire bloodlines or that it matters who changes you, but this would make them equals and Edward can't have that. Also, 2 of the 3 vampires from the first book are still on the loose, and Werewolf Boy still loves Bella, and thinks that she still loves him, so vamping her would break a wolf-vamp treaty, and the Italian vamps will be coming in later to check and see how Bella is adjusting to being a vamp. Then there's the 3rd book. Fuck it, here are the major plot points. Wolf Boy still loves Bella, but makes out with her as she resists him for no good reason, which could technically be kind of like mouth rape or something, which then makes her realize that she still loves him. Think about that for a sec. Edward's family is more badass than he ever was, as they kill a newly minted vampire army, as Edward and Bella distract and take out their leader, the evil female vamp from the first book. Bella still can't decide whether she likes Edward or Wolf Boy, ignoring the fact that if she isn't a vamp when the Italian vamps show, they will kill everyone. Last book, she decides on Edward, and they get married and have ridiculously rough sex on an island off the coast of fucking Brazil. Bella gets pregnant from having sex once, and is going to have a half-vampire baby. Edward is dead, and they're having a baby. Then you go off to Wolf Boy's perspective and get a look at their intra-wolf politics as he makes his own pack, and then Bella gets pregnant and then the baby breaks her bones as it tries to get free alien style. Then Edward has to rip Bella's stomach and the amniotic sac open with his fucking teeth and give Bella a shot of venom to her heart because she's gonna die. Yeah. So then Wolf Boy immediately imprints on the newborn baby. In Twilight, werewolves imprint on a specific person, and that person is their soulmate, regardless of what the imprintee wants. Fuck free will. If the imprinter is an adult and the imprintee is a child, guess what? The imprinter just waits, and this is thought of as common practice and perfectly okay. Then the half-vampire abomination grows up really quickly, but this bitchy vampire thinks that the abomination is a vampire child, which is against the law, as that's fucked up even for Twilight. So the Italian vamps show up to kill it, and the Cullens, but the Cullens get American vamp support to fight, and would be an awesome battle scene, as each vamp has their own superpowers. But then, faster than you can say Deus Ex Machina, an older half-vamp shows up, shows that the abomination isn't dangerous, and the Italian vamps leave. End of story. Oh, but wait, there's more! Remember how I mentioned that Bella got vamped with the venom? You might have missed it because of the werewolf imprinting thing. Yeah, turns out that Bella's superpower is perfect control. Not like Edward's dad's control of his bloodlust, Bella suffers from none of the side effects whatsoever. She goes hunting in a fucking cocktail dress and is better than Edward at everything automatically. Oh, and I must have forgotten to mention that they have tons and tons of awesome vampire sex! Fuck, this is a fucking book, and it's fucking horrible writing, and forgive me, my hopes up so fucking high, but me trying to make Stephanie fucking Meyer a better fucking writer than she ever was. Don't read this fucking book, don't watch the fucking movies, it isn't fucking worth it. Bloody motherfucking Christ! Fuck! Okay, better now. I'll post a link to an article in Cracked.com along with this video that will give you a slightly hyperbolized and less angry recounting of the story. I'm not sure what movie I'll review, but something that won't be so upsetting. Maybe a romantic comedy flick, or a horror flick, or both. Either way, this is Lee, publicly speaking, and signing off.